Poppy Playtime has been working on a free-to-play multiplayer game which has been given the title of Project Playtime. 2 new trailers were released recently, one being cinematic and the other being a gameplay. The cinematic trailer starts with several people who seem to be a crew dressed in hazmat suits collecting scrap parts of different toys using their grab packs and throwing them in a chute labeled as the Toy Machine Deposit. We learn much later that this crew is collecting these scrap toy parts in order to create a larger giant toy which somehow assists them to escape from the place they are trapped in, faced against a hostile Playtime code life toy who has one and only one intention: to kill each and every one of these hazmat suit wearing individuals. Each individual wears a different color hazmat suit in order to differentiate between them, as of course the entire new game is a multiplayer which is said to have a story dedicated to it, with it being fully released after the initial version comes out. Now, something interesting that I noticed watching the trailer is that the hazmat suits have the Playtime Co logo on them, portraying that these suits in fact belonged to the company, which these individuals took to protect themselves when in the rooms of the company. It's not clear why they need hazmat suits or even why Playtime Co used to have them, but whatever it is, it goes back to the experiments the organization ran in order to create these live toys. As we learned from chapter 1 and 2, that these toys used to be employees or other humans who were experimented on and transformed into these hostile toys, who seem to live for eternity unless they sustain some sort of critical injury and die. Therefore, it can be thought that the process of the experiment of transforming these humans into toys involved some sort of chemicals, whether in smoke or liquid state or even solid, which would initiate this process when exposed to the target, so the hazmat suits are a layer of protection against turning into these dolls or toys. Or maybe even these toys secrete or emit some sort of chemical which would be hazardous to any individual. As the trailer continues, these individuals notice a small Huggy Wuggy who comes to life, twitching vigorously, with one of the members putting it out of its misery by stomping on its head, which splatters some blood, indicating that this Huggy Wuggy doll, despite being small, in fact was alive, having some sort of consciousness transferred into it. This shows that the experiments ran weren't limited to transferring people's consciousnesses into large dolls only, but into even much smaller ones. Maybe Playtime Co wanted to in fact make the dolls more lifelike, giving each some sort of consciousness, so each doll given to a child would exhibit human-like characteristics. But of course, we learned this didn't go as planned. The trailer further shows Huggy Wuggy showing up, killing 2 of these individuals in old-fashioned Huggy Wuggy way, with the crew using their grab packs to operate some of the doors. So we should expect in Project Playtime that the playable characters can use their grab packs just how we could in the main game to work with tools and devices to operate doors and other things. We get a creepy scene of Mummy Longlegs also appearing and snatching one of the individuals, as of course she has been so lonely, wanting a new playmate. Who better than one of these individuals who seem to be working for the cruel and sinister Playtime Co factory, which we are gonna get back to later. They are not as cruel as they seem to be, especially wearing those hostile looking hazmat suits. In fact, it seems that they are fully unaware of the whole experiments that took place in the company. Finally, the last member of the group, the only survivor, manages to reach the train in order to escape this hell. Just as this individual thinks he made it, he notices a Jack-in-a-Box toy winding when a creature emerges out, killing him instantly. And only that's when the train starts moving. Nice touch there. I see what they did there. This is an introduction to a new toy known as the Boxy Boo. Yeah, a very terrifying name, who, as the name suggests, has a box-shaped head with sharp teeth similarly to Huggy Wuggy, having springs for limbs, bouncing and rapidly consuming its victims. In the cinematic trailer, we only see Boxy Boo being in a static position, acting as a camping enemy, who would be in hidden places attacking the players when they are only in close proximity to it. However, Boxy Boo is much more terrifying, as we see in the gameplay trailer. Boxy Boxy Boo is very capable on walking and chasing after its victims, with its scary and nightmare-fueled coily limbs. The game in its early access version is scheduled to come out on 6th of December this year, but its full version with a dedicated story is coming out sometime in 2023. The gameplay trailer, on the other hand, reveals so much more about the story, the individuals in the factory, and what in general is going on. An audio announcement by Leith Pierre, the head of innovation in Playtime Co., explains who these individuals are, labeling them as resource extraction specialists.
And welcome to your job as a resource extraction specialist. Here's the job. You need to collect toy parts to make a giant toy. Get that giant toy on the train, then leave. Simple, right?
Their job is to collect toy parts in order to make a giant toy and get it in the train and leave in one piece, with no further explanation, further depicting the shady businesses of Playtime Co. The gameplay, however, shows the individuals, the resource extraction specialists, aren't only tasked with collecting toy parts, but that they are required to do several puzzles as well. Puzzles that are needed to be solved in order to open the doors or unlock the doors to collect the toy parts. Each match in the game is playable with up to 6 players at a time. Not sure if 6 must be at each playthrough or it's just up to 6 players. There seems to be both third-person perspective and first-person perspective playthroughs as well, which I'm really glad to have the option for, giving you the choice to play however you want. One of the players can be seen somersaulting, which is really interesting, making me think what else can we do with the characters. Each playable character seems to also be customizable, as they're not only bound to be in different hazmat suits, being able to wear different clothes and accessories. The grab packs can even be customizable instead of basic color palettes. Probably one of the best parts of this game is that not only you can play as the resource extraction specialists, but also the hostile live toys such as Huggy Wuggy, Mummy Longlegs, and the newly introduced Boxy Boo, who all seem to have special abilities of themselves. Each hostile toy has up to 2 different abilities, with the Boxy Boo seemingly having a slashing attack and a claw grab move, while Mummy Longlegs has special vision, which seems to show the characters even behind walls, and a special web attack. Huggy Wuggy, on the other hand, is labeled as the brute of them all, who has 2 different special moves, with one seemingly being a grabbing move and a smiley face, which I really don't know what that means. Whatever it is, it just doesn't seem good. Each playable character also seems to have up to 3 hearts, which means they possibly get to revive up to 3 times. Not really sure how it works until we get the full game out. The objectives are also seen on the top left-hand corner, which isn't only limited to the main objective, with a secondary objective also being presented, which might give the players more experience points or coins to upgrade their characters and possibly buy more accessories. We don't know for sure yet, but that's my guess. The perspective of the toys also shows how many players are still alive, who of course need to be killed for the baddies to win. At certain points, only a few resource extraction specialists are seen to be alive, which might be an indication of the rest of them being dead, or simply that each match could be played with even less than 6 players. This of course would make more sense, as you might not always get up to 6 people playing at the same time, or you simply want to play with your friends, which might not add up to 6. Sad, I know, but it's the quality that matters, not the quantity. Another thing which seems to be important here is that each playthrough has a countdown, maybe up to 15 minutes long, as the longest countdown I saw in the trailer was just over 13 minutes, making each match intense, forcing the players to collect the toy parts as quick as possible, while a monstrous toy lurks around in the shadows. Different parts of the factory are seen in the trailer as well, which haven't yet been unveiled in the main game, Puppy Playtime. There could be some sort of stage unlocking process with the players managing to go to different and more parts of the factory, if they manage to collect enough experience points, which might somehow become linked with the dedicated story that is under development for 2023. Now, the Steam page of the game expands a lot more on what we can expect at this point, which is the early access. which to be fair is quite a lot. The early access offers 2 fleshed out maps with 3 playable monsters, Boxy Boo, Mummy Longlegs, and Huggy Wuggy. There are 8 perks and 8 sabotages available at this moment as well, with the story only being introduced and not fully playable until the game is fully released sometime in the first half of 2023, or at least that's what's planned for now. Good news is that the game will be free to play even after it's fully released, with the upgrades also being free to achieve by playing the game and obtaining in-game currency known as toy tickets, which are said to only be earned by playing the game and not through payment, with the game being heavily referred to as not a pay-to-win game. So that's really good to hear. Therefore, the experience point I was talking about earlier are known as the toy tickets. The puzzles are not also secondary objectives, as the toy parts are locked in places which only can be unlocked by playing the puzzles, with some even going as deep as Whack-A-Wuggy games. Now, what are the available perks and sabotages, which are at the moment only limited to 8? Sabotages are special abilities which the monsters can obtain through upgrades. Some are special abilities to blind the players, booby-trapping paths, and destroying grab packs to start with. The perks, on the other hand, are abilities that the resource extraction specialists can gain through upgrades. Some examples are becoming better at solving puzzles or seemingly helping other team members, becoming someone called a medic or puzzle masters. Other upgrades are increasing speed or becoming harder to spot, becoming labeled as Shadow Walker. You might think, well, that sounds just swell. A free game with free perks and sabotages, with a fully fleshed out story coming out as well. What's the catch? Well, there is one. Despite the sabotages and perks being achieved through earning toy tickets, which are through playing the game, there's a shop which is seemingly only for cosmetics. There's no pay to win, as the abilities and upgrades are only unlocked through playing and gaining more experience or toy tickets. But cosmetic wise, if you want to have more accessories or stylish looking grab packs, it seems to need you to take out your real life wallet and pay real money. I mean, they have to make money one way or another, right? And this isn't a shady business which forces the players to bleed out money to play, as otherwise it would be unplayable with OP characters who have been upgraded to the teeth. It seems that it's only cosmetic. So it's up to the players if they want to cosmetically change their characters' appearances, but this of course wouldn't impact the gameplay itself. There's also a seasonal toy box which offers 100 levels of cosmetic glory, which is what it's called. So for certain times, and if you play the game enough, you get to unlock new accessories. And that's about it for this video, folks. What are your thoughts about Project Playtime? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you're excited about it and if you're gonna play it. Anyway, folks, it's been R, your host. Thank you for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.